Hello DV here, your humble GM and player, back with more Ironsworn. When we left off last episode, Dog and Keon had gotten a message from the Lord of the Light himself that something was amiss in a cave near Valemark. Keon and Dog went and investigated together and discovered not only a bone walker that they had to destroy guarding the cave, but also as they were sneaking in, they heard Kova come in and start performing a ritual at a corrupted iron pillar inside of the cave. As he continued his ceremony, his ritual, the corruption, the rust got worse and worse. And he used the very herbs that he asked of Dog to help cleanse this pillar as he performed his ritual. And so now we are at we have a new vow here, and we are going to defeat Kova. Well, it's not a vow, but we do have to defeat Kova the Mystic. And so we also had a track to find out what corruption Kova the Mystic was up to. And I think we had discovered that pretty much without too much trouble there. Did we swear a vow on that? I think we did. Well, we're gonna get a reward for it regardless. We know that he's up to something, but we're gonna wait until we finish this encounter to see if we can get a little further along in progress there. So now the question is, should we attack him straight away, or should we try to convince him to stop this madness? That whatever ceremony he's doing looks very dark and evil. I assume it's not part of any Lord of the Light. I'm thinking it's something darker. And so we're going to roll. Is Keon going to try to talk to Kova? Or is he going to try to stop us from just attacking him? I'm going to think that probably it's, well, we'll just give it 50-50 because I'm not sure. We'll say 50-50 chance Keon is going to try to talk to him, in which case we'll try to help convince him. We'll kind of follow Keon's lead. Is Keon going to try to talk Kova down from this? No. Alright, so he's all in for the combat. And so he has a cudgel and we have our long arm asset, our quarterstaff. And so we are going to first try to secure an advantage here before we enter the fray. So we are going to try to sneak up. He doesn't know we're there yet. So we're going to try to sneak up on him and secure our advantage using Shadow because we're going to be sneaky. And I do get a +1 from Shadow. From our alchemic potion that we consumed, and well, I was gonna say maybe we get a +1 also from working with Keon, but I don't think that's how that works. So we're just gonna say we get +1 from our potion. We're gonna try to sneak up on Kova as he's performing this ritual, and we rolled a 9 and got against a 6 and a 1, so that's a strong hit. We gain an advantage, choose one. Take control, make another move now, not a progress move. When you do, add +1, or prepare to act and take 2 momentum. Well, I'm already at 10 momentum, so I'm not going to do that. We're going to use the +1 on our next move, which will be to enter the fray. So Keon and I both begin to creep up from behind the rocks that we were hiding in this cave. Meanwhile, Kova is busy. He's entranced in his ritual. He's gesticulating with his arms. These shadow clouds are swirling above the iron pillar, and he is completely engrossed in what he is doing. And so we're able to sneak up behind him, and now we are going to enter the fray. When we enter into combat, create or select a foe track with a rank. We got Kova. He's a dangerous foe. Roll to determine who's in control. We are in control because we are attacking him secretly. We're going to face off against foe row Heart, although we're sneaking up on him, so I think we're going to do Shadow again. So strike without warning, roll Shadow, yep. That's good. So that's what we're going to do. And we get our +1. And I think I will add another +1 to this because Kova is also going to be attacking with us. So we're going to get a +2 there. So we're going to sneak up on him and try to jump him and stop him from performing this ritual. So let's roll. We got a 7. That is a weak hit against a 3 and an 8. Oh, I didn't add my additional one from my advantage. So that gives us an 8, but we're still just a weak hit. So it's a weak hit, so I can only choose one. Prepare to act, take initiative. That's what we're going to do. We're going to take initiative. All right, so we sneak up on him, and we didn't quite get the jump on him before he turned around and noticed him, but we got close enough that we can strike. And we are going to both strike against him, so I get a +1 from fighting with Keon. I'm going to use my edge, which is my long arm ability. We're going to roll to strike, and we got a weak hit. Inflict harm, but lose the initiative. Oof. I could go ahead and burn our momentum now, but I think I'll save it just in case. We do go ahead and inflict harm though, so we're going to inflict harm onto Kova. He's a dangerous foe, so we get 2 progress from that. So we sneak up, and he heard us just as we were sneaking up, but I still swing my staff just in time and strike him in the side, and he kind of stumbles away, and his concentration is slightly interrupted, but he yells out, and Keon yells out, "Kova, you fool! Stop this at once!" And Kova turns with a smug smile, kind of holding on to his struck ribs, and he says,
"It is you who are a fool to think that this can be stopped. The Lord of Shadow cannot be stopped. It is inevitable that he shall overthrow his brother, the Lord of the Light. I am merely securing my immortality by creating this sacrifice for him."
And with that, he throws his hand to the side, and we hear the rattle of bones in the entryway of this cave where we saw those piles of bones. And we know that he is raising those other bone walkers from their death into undeath. Okay, so now we have to make a decision. Are the bone walkers going to come in and fight us, or are they going to the village? Because he said making a sacrifice. He may be creating this army to go kill villagers as a sacrifice to the Lord of Darkness, the Lord of Shadow. I'm going to say it's likely that they are going, well, we'll just say 50-50. Are they coming after us? No, they're going after the village. Okay, so now we have to decide what to do. Dog is going to say, "I've got this! Keon, go stop those bone walkers!" And so Keon, he's a little torn at first, but he shakes his head, yeah, and he rushes out from the cave to try to stop those bone walkers from making it to the village. And while we're doing that, the evil mystic reaches out his hand and grabs Dog's arm, and we're going to see if he gets a hit. We are going to use edge to try to dodge that. Don't have a bonus to my edge anymore from Keon being here, so I'm going to roll. We got a 10 against a 2 and a 4, so that is a strong hit. He grabs my arm, but I'm able to push him away with my quarterstaff, and at the same stroke of the motion, I turn the other end of the quarterstaff into my hands quickly and strike him in the knee, and it causes him to cry out in pain, and we inflict our harm. We have initiative. I can either bolster my position and take 1 momentum, or I can find an opening and inflict another harm. I'm going to say we're going to find an opening and inflict another harm another harm. After I strike him in the knee, I see that he doubles over in pain, and I bring the staff up and crack him in the side of the head. That's an additional 2 harm. He's now up to 3 harm. We're over 50%, and we now have the initiative. I'm going to try to finish him off with one last strike here. While he is doubled over in pain, I raise the staff over my head and bring it down in a momentous strike against him. I rolled an 8 against a 5 and a 3, another strong hit. I inflict 1 more harm, striking him in the back of the head. He falls to 1 knee. He is definitely in a bad way. We're going to say in the fight, and see if I can knock him unconscious with my last hit. So we will be using the progress from our track against Kova. We've got an 8 currently, and we're going to roll and see. I can't use momentum for this, right? No. Momentum is ignored, yeah. So we're going to roll. We have an 8 versus a 6 and a 7, another strong hit. We strike him 1 more time in the side of the head with our staff with all of our might, and he tumbles into a pile of robes and flesh at our feet, completely unconscious and defeated. And we are going to mark that complete. Fantastic. And we're going to give ourselves another progress and find out what Kova is up to. Alright. So now that we have him completely unconscious, we're going to take some rope from our pack. We're going to tie him up, and we see that now that he's unconscious, the shadows start to dissipate from over the iron pillar, and we get him all tied up, and we kind of slap him around a little bit to wake him back up. And when he finally does wake up, he's like,
"You fools, you do not know what you have begun."
And Dog says, "How could you do this? How could you betray your god, the Lord of the Light?" And Kova says,
"What care do you have for the Lord of the Light? We know that you and your family are using herbs to heal people. That's against the wishes of the Lord of Light. Join me, Dog. Join me with your family. We know you've never been a fan of the Lord of the Light. Help us to overthrow the children of the light and become the new power in the Havens. First, we'll take Veilmark, and then we'll move on to Axecrag, and further until the Lord of the Light has been cast into the shadow. Join us, Dog. We can do this together."
and of course, Dog is completely, maybe very slightly tempted, because he does have a mission to overthrow the Children of the Light, but not like this, not through evil. He wants to do it in another way. So we're going to say he does get a little bit of progress with this mission, just because he had an opportunity to do something evil, but he proceeded to move forward with that. And we know that the corruption from Kova is in an attempt to overthrow the Lord of the Light. So we're going to give ourselves that, and we're going to fulfill this vow here. And let's see, which vow is it? Find out what corruption. There it is. We're going to roll to fulfill this vow. A 10 against a 5 and a 6, which is a strong hit, which means we get... It was a dangerous quest, and so we get 2 experience points from that. Fantastic. We're not going to attribute that experience to anything just yet, but we do have the ability to upgrade something. Got 3 experience points that we can use once we get into a position where we can use it. So Dog says, never, I'll never help you. We'll make sure you're punished just like Child Keenan. And Kova laughs and laughs because he knows what Dog did with planting that evidence. He knows about that. He was awake the whole time whenever they were sneaking in, and it kind of all worked into his plans to get Keenan out of the way so he could take control. So he helps Kova to his feet. He's still tied up, and they start making their way back to the village. And when they're about halfway there, they see that Keon is on his way back to the cave, and he nods and he says, "It is done. I have cleared the Bone Walkers. The village is safe." And so Keon and Kova and Dog head back to the village, and they turn Kova over to the Children of the Light and tell them about what they have discovered. But a few of the children, even though they're lower ranking, they don't quite believe. They don't quite believe the story that Dog and Keon are telling. And so we're going to have to do a compel to make sure that these Children of the Light here in the village do the right thing and prosecute Kova for being a traitor and a heretic. I mean, Dog and his family are branded for using herbs, and this guy who's actively trying to overthrow the church is not. I mean, it's ridiculous. So we're going to go ahead and try to compel them. And we're going to use convince, which will be heart. And we do share a bond with the village, so we are going to add a +1. There we go. Alright, so we're going to roll a 7 against a 2 and a 3. We are rolling great today. And we convince them about the dark ritual that he was performing. And we could take momentum, but unfortunately we are full up on momentum right now. I could use this in exchange to gather information, so maybe I could use that to gather some more information about something. Well, we're not going to use it to gather information. We'll use that +1 to increase our bond with Keon after doing this fight together. Let's go ahead and see if we can increase our bond. So, having fought this overcome this challenge together, we feel even closer and like brothers in arms for having to face these challenges together. And so let's see if we strengthen our bond. Ooh, a miss with a negative twist. What? You are refused. Pay the price. Double 10. The worst thing that we possibly could have rolled. Oh my god. Refused. Pay the price. First of all, our bond with Keon weakens because Keon is now suspicious about our motives. He has motives to get more powerful and rebel against Child Keenan and Kova. And now he is starting to get paranoid that perhaps we're trying to overthrow him and we're trying to overthrow the Lord of the Light. And maybe we're secretly working to, bring down the Lord of the Light overall. Maybe not the rise of the Lord of the Shadow, but he is suspicious of us. And so we lose 1 progress in our bond. And we will roll on the pay the price table. Forces you to act against your best intentions. Alright. So I think what I just did is perfect. It harmed our relationship together with Keon. Okay, and so after that tough fight, Dog, and the disappointment of not being able to increase our relationship with Keon, Dog's gonna head on back to his house, and we're gonna try to rest up and maybe do a little training and talk with our grandparents about gaining some ability in alchemy. And so we're going to go to Sojourn, and we are going to roll Heart, and we will roll. We got a weak hit. I'm going to go ahead and burn our momentum. We got tons of momentum. I need all of the stuff we can get. So I'm going to burn our momentum and get a strong hit instead. I'm going to take our momentum back down to 2. And let's see, for a strong hit, let's see, choose 2 from the categories in the move description. Okay, this really should have been a 1, but we still get a strong hit. A 6 versus a 9 and a 2, and we drop the 9 with our burning our momentum. So, when we spend time in a community seeking assistance, roll Heart. If you share a bond, add 1. We did. We can clear a wounded ability and take 1 health. Okay, I think I will take 1 health. Or recuperate, take 2 health from ourselves, or take 2 spirit, or provisions, 2 supply, or take 2 momentum. Okay, I think I'll take 2 spirit because our spirit's really low. And then I also will equip to clear an unprepared ability and take 1 supply as well. That'll bring us up to 3. Alright, so we sojourned, we re-equipped ourselves, we spent a few days, you know, gathering some herbs and resupplying our rope and speaking with our grandparents, building up our rapport with them. And they're starting to feel better now as we kind of tend to them over the past few days, and they're starting to be able to get up and get around, and they're doing a lot better from their injuries, and so that's good. Let's go ahead and see if we can do another heal move to heal ourselves as well. So we're going to try to heal ourselves. We are herbalists, so we can heal with herbal remedies, and we can roll wits or iron, whichever is lower. Our wits and iron, so iron is lower. And so what does it say in our herbal abilities? When attempt to heal using herbal remedies, you have at least +1 supply. Choose 1. On a hit, take or give an additional +1 health, or add +2. Now, unfortunately, my iron is only a 3. I don't think I get to add a +1 on this, unfortunately. I could add a +2. Now we're just going to roll. We're going to go give a straight roll. We're going to give, we'll take that additional health if we get the heal. Alright, so we rolled a 9 against a 7 and a 2. That's fantastic. We took the +2 health, and so that will pop us up to a 5. Fantastic. Oh, we already got +2 on that, but I chose that anyway, so that's okay. That's what we got. Fantastic. Now, we are going to go ahead and try to resupply ourselves. We're going to go ahead and start gathering up some herbs and other things. We're going to try to bolster our supply from the local flora and fauna. Oh, we find nothing helpful. Pay the price. Rolled a 4 against double 5s, a miss with a negative twist. What the heck? We're here at home. Alright, so we're out in the woods and around the region of Velmark, and we're gathering our herbs and things. And while we're gathering these herbs, we hear a sound behind us. A sound of a low, rumbling growl. And we see a hungry wolf has been driven from the mountains and the deeper woods in the area. They've been driven from not finding prey for whatever reason to get closer and closer to the man-made settlements. And he has spotted us crouching, bending over, being largely unaware of him advancing upon us. And now he lets out a low rumbling growl, and we turn and see this big shaggy wolf, which is a dangerous foe, inflicts 2 harm, and we get 1 progress for every harm that we do. So now we have to create a new track another new foe, which is a wolf. Oh, and something else that I discovered is learn from my mistakes. That's an alternate rule I read about. When this progresses to a +6 or higher, make the move learn from my mistakes. Well, every time we make a miss, we get to increase progress on learn from my mistakes. Then I get to make a move learn from my mistakes, and that will allow us to learn from our mistakes. It's kind of another vow that we get to use to make progress. And every time we get a miss, we get to add this, and so I did get a miss searching for herbs, so I'm going to go ahead and increase that to a 2. Didn't we get a miss in the cave as well? We paid the price, yeah, with our Forge of Bond check, so now it's up to 3 actually. Fantastic. Alright, so we're making all kinds of moves today. Okay, so now we have this wolf that is going to attack us, and unfortunately things aren't looking too hot for us. We're going to have to clear out some of these old quests. The wolf. The wolf, the wolf, the wolf is on fire. So we're going to enter the fray against the wolf. Create or select a foe track. We did. Okay. Roll to determine who is in control. For facing off against a foe, roll heart. For moving into a position against an unaware foe, roll shadow. No. If we're ambushed, roll wits. We are ambushed, so we're going to roll wits. Don't get any bonuses for that. We're just going to roll. And we rolled a 9. And against a 10 and 1, it's a weak hit. Take 2 momentum. You have initiative. Okay. Oh, choose one. Bolster my position. Take 2 momentum. 2 momentum, or prepare to act. Take initiative. I think I will, instead of taking the momentum. No, I'm not. I'm going to take the momentum. I think it's more important that we take the momentum. And so we turn just in time as this wolf leaps out towards us, his gnashing teeth trying to get a purchase on us, and we are on the defensive here. So we're going to do a clash roll with my edge using my long arm ability. Let's see what happens. Long arm in my hands. When I use it as a weapon, may strike or clash plus edge instead of iron. If you do, add +1 and 1 momentum on a hit. Alright, so I get to add +1 from my long arm, which is good. I need all the help I can get. We're going to roll. Oof! Another miss. We roll a 6 versus a 7 and a 9. You are outmatched and must pay the price. Your foe has initiative. Unfortunately, we can't get our weapon up in time, and his gnashing teeth latch onto her arm, and he thrashes his head as dogs and wolves do, and he flips it around, and we suffer 2 harm from the wound. However, we are going to now endure harm. When we face physical damage, suffer health equal to your foe's rank, or as appropriate in the situation. If your health is 0, suffer momentum. Okay, so we suffer 2 harm, and we are going to roll. Health is +3, iron is +3, either one, doesn't matter. We're gonna take that, and we are gonna roll. We get a weak hit, that means we press on. We took the 2 hit, and we press on. The wolf still has the initiative. Alright. So he's latched on to our arm, and then he tries to use his body weight to try to throw us to the ground. We're going to do a clash move. I'm going to use my +1 for my long arm skill. I'm going to use edge. He tries to throw us to the ground. We roll an 11 versus a 3 and a 1. That's a strong hit. We inflict our harm, and we have the initiative. I can either take an additional momentum or an additional harm. I'm going to say an additional harm. So we're going to do the 1 harm from our attack, and then the 2nd harm from the strong hit. So that gives us 4 harm against this dangerous wolf attack. And now we have the initiative. He tries to throw us down, but when he does, he loses his grip on our arm with his nasty, gnashing teeth. And so we're able to bring our staff to bear and kind of get it in between us, and we try to use it to trip the wolf. Try to get it in there in his legs to make him stumble and stop his attack on us. We're going to do a strike +1. And I get a +1 momentum from our hit with long arm. So with strike clash, if you do, add a +1, and we take 1 momentum on a hit. So fantastic. I think I forgot to do that in several of my other combats. Okay, so we're using it as simple weapons. We're only doing 1 harm. However, we get these other benefits as well. So we're going to go ahead and do a strike with edge. We're going to roll. We rolled an 11 again with our +1 from long arm, and against a 2 and a 6, that's another strong hit. We inflict another harm, and we retain our initiative, and we gain a momentum from our long arm skill. So we inflict another harm. We're able to jam the staff in between his legs and strike his legs in several places, and he stumbles and he is unable to make an attack. We use that opportunity to go ahead and bring our staff in a more strong position and strike him in the head with our staff. That is a 9 against a 3 and a 7. That's another strong hit. Inflict another harm, and I retain the initiative, and I gain a momentum. The wolf has been struck. He's in a bad way, and we are going to try to end the fight. So we're going to choose the wolf attack. We've got an 8. We don't get to add anything to that, unfortunately. Ooh, no! 8 versus a double 9. Miss with a negative twist. I have lost this fight. Pay the price. Oh no, what is the price? It is stressful, so I'll lose 2 spirit. Alright. Oh my gosh. So, right when we think we're going to do the finishing blow, the wolf leaps up from the ground and tackles us to the ground, and we are going to endure stress now. We're going to use either, let's see, you face mental shock or despair, suffer spirit equal to the foe's rank or as appropriate to the situation. If your spirit is 0, suffer momentum. Real heart or spirit, whichever is higher. Our heart is 2, our spirit is 2, so it doesn't matter. We're going to roll that. And we get a weak hit. We press on. Alright. So this wolf is now on top of us, and it's making its go at our throat. It's everything we can do to fight it off. We're going to add +1 for using our staff in the long arm ability, and we are going to see if we can overcome his attack. Oh, we got a 6 on a double 1 strong with a positive twist. We take 1 momentum and another momentum from... Oh, I gotta choose one. Inflict your harm and choose 1. So let's inflict our harm first. Very good. And we are going to choose 1. But since I got a strong positive twist, I'm going to take both. I'm going to inflict 1 harm and add 1 momentum and another momentum from striking with my staff. That's good. And we're going to say that we're able to hit him in such a way that we hear his jaw crack, and we have done significant damage to the wolf, and he yelps in a yelp of pain and runs off away from us and back into the woods, and he is gone. We lay there on the ground shaken from our encounter. Obviously we are in a poor way once again. after just recuperating in the village, and we're like, what a world, what a world, what a world. And so we make our way back to the village once again, having not resupplied ourselves. Now we're back down in spirit and in health once again, and we're going to have to sojourn once again back at our homestead with heart. We do get a +1, and we are going to roll. It is a weak hit. We can burn momentum and get a strong hit. I could choose one, but I am going to go and burn my momentum. So now we get a strong hit. That means we get to choose 2 things. So let's go ahead and recover our spirit once again. So we're going to consort, take 2 spirit. Good. And we are going to clear a wounded ability and take 1 health as what? No, you know what? I'm going to take a supply instead, because we're going to make a potion. Alright. So now that we have recuperated for a couple more days, and we tell our grandparents about the crazy wolf attack, and they can't really imagine that wolves are so close to the village like this. But after we've stayed there, we hear a knock on the door, and it's Keon and some of the other children have come to visit. And so I come out of the house, and Keon says, we haven't been on the best of terms of late. I know that things ended poorly after our fight with Kova, but we've been interrogating him, and we're taking him to Axcrag, and he will face trial along with Child Keenan. And I think perhaps we should tell the truth about Keenan in light of what Kova was doing. It would be better to have Keenan in control, and I will ask blessings to become the head priest here in Valemark. If you choose to accompany us, I will make sure that you are not punished for your part in blackmailing Child Keenan, but I feel like the truth should be known, that he is in fact innocent of his crimes and should not be executed. And so, Devin has to make a choice. Should we go to Axcrag and tell the truth? I do want vengeance against Child Keenan for what he did to my grandparents. But is it... I think I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to go with them to tell the truth. And so that's going to test my bond with Keenan even further. So when your bond is tested through conflict, roll heart. Okay. We're going to roll heart, and I'm going to take away my +1. We rolled a 3 against a 7 and a 2, which is a weak hit. I do have momentum. I wanted to burn it. Your bond is fragile, and you must prove your loyalty. Envision what they ask of you, and do it. Swear an iron vow. Okay, I think we are going to do it. And they want us to go and confess in Axcrag to the leaders, not under arrest, you know, not to be convicted, but just to clear Keenan's name and do the right thing, basically. So that he makes me swear a vow to do that, and I think we're going to agree to do that. So we're going to swear an iron vow. We go into the village, place our hand on the metal pillar, and we swear. And I think this is probably going to be a +1 because we're swearing it to Keon, we have a bond with. Oof, another miss. You face a significant obstacle before you can begin your quest. Envision what stands in your way and choose one. Okay, I can either forsake this vow or I can press on and suffer 2 momentum and do what we must to overcome an obstacle. Dang. And I get to learn from my mistakes. That's one good thing, I guess. Alright. So, I am going to go ahead and swear my vow. I'm going to say it is a dangerous vow. Company Keon to Axcrag. That is the name of that place. I keep saying Axcrag. That's right? Yeah, Axcrag. Okay. And I'm going to confess to planting evidence on Keenan. I think his name was Keelan originally. It's somehow transferred to Keenan. Alright, so unfortunately with this miss, I have to suffer 2 momentum and do what I must to overcome this obstacle. So what is the obstacle? Oh, I know what it is. While we're talking Kova, someone had cut his bonds and he's able to make a break for it and run out into the woods while we're trying to gather ourselves for the journey to Axcrag. And so in order to begin my journey in order to begin the journey there, we're going to have to go capture Kova. My God. Kova, why are you always causing so much trouble? You're such a troublemaker, Kova. Kova! Con! Alright, so I'm just going to make it a legacy. It's not a vow. And we're going to say it's troublesome to recapture Kova. Because I feel like he's not in the best shape. He's unprepared. We see him running out into the woods. And we're going to try to recapture him. I'm just going to reuse one of these tracks here. Alright. So Kova makes a break for it. And we are going to have to take him back under our control. But that, unfortunately, is going to have to wait until next episode. Hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, be sure and hit that like button. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Casa,